We've got a very special video today, guys. For the first time, somebody other than Ben and I will feature in a Money Unshackled video.
It's not just anyone, oh no. We got in touch with none other than Jen from MamaFurFur. Jen runs a very successful YouTube channel with over 40,000 subscribers and the MamaFurFur.com website.
If you've not seen her videos before, then head over to her channel after this video. She covers personal finance, budgeting, investing, and so much more. If you enjoy the content that we give you guys and want more, then it's certainly worth taking a look at her channel.
In this video, we've asked Jen 4 questions from her views on using debt to her best tips on how to maximise income. We'll even throw in our 2 cents. You don't want to miss this. Let's check it out.
Welcome to MoneyUnshackled.com, the investment and finance channel and website that says you and your finance is free.
That was Andy and I'm Ben, and if you like what we say, hit the like button and click subscribe.
Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer and I have a YouTube channel called MamaFurFur where I also talk about personal finance, investing and success mindset here in the UK. I'm really excited to get diving right into some great questions from Ben and Andy from Money Unshackled.
Okay Jen, first question. People's views on debt are often divisive. One camp preaches that you should be debt free and the other says you should leverage cheap debt to amplify returns. Which camp are you in and why?
So I think the topic of debt is a really interesting one, and unfortunately I see a lot of money gurus kind of tell people that they need to be debt free, or the other extreme, which is get lots of debt in order to achieve lots of true wealth in their life. I don't actually believe either is right. What I do believe though is that debt is just this concept of money that people have attached a huge amount of emotional behaviour towards. They see it as they're meant to feel bad, they're meant to be penalised, they're a horrible person if they have debt. I actually think debt is just something you pick up because you wanted to pay something long term. I don't believe that debt is something that you should penalise yourself for, to punish yourself, but I do believe it should be something we're not adding to, and it only needs to be very conscious decisions when you take it on board. Because ultimately with debt, we're effectively buying our money in future, we're creating a deficit. So what I think is, if you have consumer debt, you really don't want it because it's draining so much of your money every month. Start with a debt repayment plan. Now I don't mean companies who are going to take your money with a charge. I mean just simply find a method that works for you to pay it off. I use my 10% rule, which basically means even on the mortgage, car payments, you commit to paying 10% extra every month of the monthly amount. The reason for that is such a small amount of maths. It actually takes your loan from, let's say, a 25-year mortgage down to a 22-year mortgage with just 10% every single month, as long as it works in with your term and conditions. So debt for me, I don't believe you completely have to be debt free to achieve great things. However, once you decide that you don't want to be in debt anymore, it's taking too much of your income away from you, I do believe that you commit to a debt repayment plan and enjoy it. It's all about doing great things with your money. And so for me, I wouldn't say one way necessarily is the right way. I think there's a lot of bad behaviour with being debt free, like a punishment, and you have to be debt free in order to enjoy life. I do believe though, as many low cost requirements on your money is the way forward. So really trying to pay off your mortgage is fantastic. Trying to pay off your car as quickly as you can. Certainly having no consumer debt. It's just money going out the door to other people to make them rich. So minimise everything, and that's when you open up opportunities for true freedom with your time and money as well.
We totally agree that you shouldn't punish yourself for having a little debt, but we firmly believe that there is a difference between good debt and bad debt. As Jen said, paying down debt on a car is a good idea, and this is the type of thing that we consider to be a bad debt.
However, we consider a mortgage to be good debt, and personally both Ben and I maximise the length of the mortgage to minimise repayments so we can invest the difference. But we totally get why you might want to free yourself from the burden of a mortgage and reduce your outgoings, and it comes down to, in the end, your risk tolerance.
Budgeting is often overlooked when investing. People want to maximise their return on investment, but often care little about investing a greater amount by controlling their spending. What is your #1 budgeting tip that helps people to save more?
So my #1 budgeting tip would actually be, don't think of the amounts that you're saving, investing or spending as something that you have to achieve a certain amount to feel good about yourself. I actually think it's purely down to the percentages that you're working towards. So you really want to aim for, if you want that financial independence, your budget has to have about 5 to 10% of your monthly income is going in investments in some way. That's allow you to be financially independent in, let's say, 30 30 years time. So obviously the higher the percentage of your money, then that means the quicker that you're going to achieve that goal. If you want to have a savings pot, so you can maybe change your job, perhaps travel, and again, it's the percentage of money that's being dedicated to that will really matter. So can you put 5-10% towards that to make it happen? I think it's all about looking at your budget really as a complete pie and dividing it on based on your goals. They're going to be very particular to you, and I completely believe that you should not sacrifice life in order to simply get the most money. So it shouldn't be that you go without everything fun in your life in order to invest and make huge amounts of money. It should also be that you don't scrimp and save on your food bill or basic necessities in order to achieve a goal. It's all about balance, and I think really your budget needs to reflect your goals in life and things that truly matter to you.
Some great points mentioned, and we totally agree it's about balance. Those of you like us that are saving hard to get to financial freedom or retirement as quickly as possible can forget that life is about the journey and not just the destination.
It is important to save as much as possible, but not to the extent that you sacrifice living now.
Once you've cut the fat from the budget, finding more money to invest by increasing your income is probably the best way to build wealth. Putting investing to one side, what are your best tips to increase income?
Now this is a great question actually. My top tips for increasing income purely have to go down to good old side hustles, as I call them. So actually thinking of multiple income streams. You're really adding that multiplier, that fire to everything you can bring. And the other thing is, this isn't reliant on just having a day job as one source of income. When you create multiple and ideally passive income, so passive income being just like investing, where you can actually get an income from this idea without having to give up your time. Once you've built a couple of income sources, then again, the amount that you could bring in is limitless because you're not exchanging your time for that money. So I would say go onto YouTube or Google and type in for suggestions of side hustle ideas that you could do, particularly passive ones. So for example, it could be that you start a blog, a YouTube channel, an Instagram account, Facebook account. You could do ebooks, courses, you could coach, you could give services. You could even think about like Amazon fulfilled by services. You could think of anything where you give a product or service without actually delivering your time multiple times. And that's really key. When you start to deliver services or your skills that you especially are very good at, then it allows multiple streams of income in your life, and that could be endless in what actually you can bring in. So definitely think outside the box. Don't just think about your day job. What skills and services could you offer the world and charge, and then create multiple passive income streams from it? I know in terms of our household, I started with just having my day job, and in the past 2 years of having a YouTube channel and a blog, I've actually managed to triple our income, so much so that my husband has left the corporate world because of all my efforts. These passive income streams of how I create content now allow people to watch my content, read my book, watch my courses without me having to do it in person. Therefore, I can be busy in the background looking after my family and also still give people value for money.
We're strong advocates of the side hustle approach, and we lived and breathed it before ditching our corporate shackles. We're fortunate to live in a time where you can hustle 24/7 if you want to and bring in some extra income.
In many cases, running a side hustle alongside a job is much better than 100% commitment to a startup, because you may be forced to jack in the business prematurely if it's a slow burner.
The UK stock market has massively underperformed over regions such as the US for many years now. Do you have any UK home bias when you invest? What percentage of your equity do you allocate to the UK, and why?
So in particular, how I like to invest, it's about 90 to 95% I go in blended index funds. So I actually am a huge fan of using Vanguard's life strategy funds. So this is not personal advice for you, but for me, they offer naturally a bias towards the US and the UK. The particular fund that I choose is their 100%, which has that blend. More heavy towards 40-50% is US S&P 500 and then FTSE 100. For me personally, I have great faith in the majority of the superpowers in the world. So I would rather track their economies, and then knowing also I've got that blend of globally with that fund to kind of balance it. There's some Japan in there, there's developing worlds as well. So I've got that blend with the rest in that fund. So what I tend to do, depending on what the economy is doing overall globally, I'll either do it between 100% life strategy fund, which is mainly US, UK, and then some global influence, or I'll switch down to the 80% fund, which is also bonds are in there, 20%, to then give me some stability if I find the UK and the US economy is a little bit too transient. So I tend to change it every couple of months based on what I think the economy might do for the next month ahead. So the way it's split is probably about 20% UK, 25% in the US, and then we have Japan, developed world, and a little bit more of the global economy, different index funds, and that's how I like to blend it right now. What I also do with the other 5% of my portfolio is I like to be a little bit riskier. So this is my fun investing, and I'm okay if I lose money in it, but basically I've invested also in some Bitcoin. I've then got individual stocks. So rather than index funds as my backbone of the majority of our wealth that have always stood the test of time for me, they've done really well in the past. I've also got some investments in oil, in gas. I also have some tech companies that I look into as well, and I've also got a couple of beverage companies. So I've kind of gone with lifestyle choices, again for longevity, and a little bit of cryptocurrency, because you never know, it might well be the currency of the future.
Index investing is something that we do and is a great strategy for most people. Investing in the whole world is certainly a good idea, because if one region does poorly, then another may more than offset it.
It's always interesting to hear what other UK investors allocate to the UK, because a lot of people have a huge bias towards their home country, sometimes being fully invested. Like Jen, we use a small allocation as fun money, but we lean more towards 15%. Who knows whether this will be a good or bad decision long term? But the excitement of changing your life with one carefully selected investment is too powerful to resist.
So guys, thank you so much for having me on your channel. I know as this goes live as well that you will be appearing on my channel, so please do hop over to the MamaFurFur channel and watch Ben and Andy answering my questions about investing now. Thank you for having me. I'll see you very soon.
Question of the day: what are your views on using debt to invest? Let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching. On this channel we talk a lot about personal finance, investing and all things money. And if you want to see more great content, please click the subscribe button below.
This is MoneyUnshackled.com. See you next time.